Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Now, as you're probably aware, Japanese boxing is absolutely flying. They have got some truly fantastic fighters in the lower weight classes. None more so than Naoya Inoue, who is leading the charge. Multi-weight world champ, two-weight undisputed champ. And he achieved that, I think, within a calendar year, or maybe a calendar year and 1 day or something like that. But a truly magnificent fighter. I think already, even though his career isn't over, he's already got to be considered Japan's greatest fighter ever. But there's another guy who is perhaps a little bit in the shadow of Inoue, who isn't, but nevertheless is an extremely good fighter and probably a top 10 pound for pounder. And that's Junto Nakatani, who himself is a three-weight world champion and is currently the WBC bantamweight champ. Now, these two met today being the 31st of March, 2025. And Naoya Inoue, as the article that I read put it, he laid down the gauntlet to Junto Nakatani, and he said he wanted to liven up Japanese boxing. Not that it needs livening up. If you've ever watched any of those cards, they're great cards with some really fantastic fights, well-matched, even fights on there. But he said, let's liven up Japanese boxing at the Tokyo Dome 1 year from now. So he's calling out Nakatani, who instantly replied, let's do it. And they shook hands, a couple of gentlemen. I think Japanese fighters tend to be real gentlemen, vicious in the ring, but gentlemen outside it. And this is a fight that I've been sort of salivating over for some time now, because I think it's a fantastic matchup. I do think Inoue would start as a favourite. I'm not going to obviously make a prediction now, but there are going to be other fights between now and then for both these guys. For Inoue, we're talking a 4th of May appearance this year against Raymond Cardenas, who's 26-1 and with 14 KOs. So that's not a bad opponent. But then, how many opponents truly are anything more than rank underdogs against Inoue? Not that many. But one that might be is if Inoue gets through Cardenas, he will face the WBA mandatory title holder, Murajon Akhmadaliev, who is 13-1, the one defeat being a close one, very close one, to Marlon Tapales, who Inoue subsequently knocked out. And that will be in Tokyo as well. And both those fights will be for the undisputed super-bantamweight titles held by Inoue. Now, Big Bang, Junto Nakatani, the Big Bang. I thought Zile Zhang was the Big Bang, but no. Junto Nakatani has the same nickname. He fought in February. He hasn't got another fight lined up yet, but you can definitely bet that he'll have a couple of fights between now and when he fights Inoue in 2026. But one thing that this kind of highlights, which I haven't seen too many people commenting on this, is that this will postpone a move to featherweight for Inoue for another year. And I'm quite happy about that, because even though Nick Ball versus Inoue would be a thing of brutal beauty, I still think that, and I love the fact that Inoue cleans out divisions. He doesn't weight hop, he doesn't jump up from division to division. He moves up as and when he's ready, having either outgrown the division, as was the case at certainly light fly. He didn't even stop off at flyweight, jumped straight to superfly. Made a load of defences, went up to bantam, cleaned that up, undisputed, up to super bantam, undisputed. And he's in no hurry to get to featherweight. And he's 31 now, which means that he's going to move to featherweight in his time, when his body allows it, when he feels that he's outgrown the super bantamweight division, if that ever happens. Now, Nakatani is 27 years old. So he is, he's still putting on. The older you get, the more natural weight you put on. But if you give it another year, he may well have grown into the super bantamweight division. And if if Inoue is can still make the weight, I think he'll make the weight no problem in a year at super bantam. It could be that weight, the difference in weight is negated, because Nakatani will have, be 28, pretty much in his physical prime. He will have naturally put on a little bit of weight, maybe boil himself down to bantamweight, may have become, slightly more difficult than it was. So I think that this is a fantastic fight, and 2026, if I have to wait till 2026, a year or so, no problem. I mean, I don't like fights being hurried. I want to see, whenever there's a big clash between two terrific fighters, I want to see them, in the best physical, mental, emotional, psychological condition as possible. Because I don't want to hear any bullshit afterwards about, well, so-and-so was this and so-and-so was injured and so all that crap. I'm not interested in that, okay? I want to see both fighters who are absolutely ready to face each other. And I think in 2026, you may find that. 32 for a super bantam, it's not ancient, so I haven't seen any sort of slippage in Inoue. Not really. I know he got floored by Lewis Neary, but so what? That was just him being a little bit too cavalier, a little bit too reckless, and got nailed, got up and chinned the guy, put him on the floor, and then eventually knocked him spark. So, this is one for the ages, I think, and it might just end up being, in fact, I'd be surprised if it wasn't the biggest Japanese fight, all Japanese fight in Japanese boxing history, a colossal sellout at the Tokyo Dome. And if you doubt Nakatani's credentials, he's 30-0 at the moment with 23 KOs, no draws, no defeats. He just smashed up David Corella, what was it? Corella Contreras, I think the guy's full name is. He smashed him up in 3 rounds, and that, like I said, that was only in February. And he came in with a 28-0 record. Did Mr. Corella Contreras? Before that, it was what was that guy's name? Salapat? I can't remember his first name, but he had some crazy record, 76 wins and 1 defeat. He'd faced absolutely I think he was a Taiwanese boxer. He knocked him out in 6 rounds. Vincent Astrolabio, who's normally a reliable sort of gatekeeper type, went out in a round. Nakatani can really fight, and he's not to be dismissed as an opponent for Inoue. Although Inoue, let's see how he fares against Akhmadaliev. That'll be a very, very interesting fight. And he shouldn't be looking beyond Akhmadaliev. He shouldn't be looking beyond any fight, of course. But it'll be interesting to see how he fares in those 2 fights. And then maybe the gap, the perceived gap, will have closed slightly or narrowed slightly, perhaps. Raymond Cardenas shouldn't be overlooked. He's 26-1. Like I say, 14 KOs. Not a big hitter, but yeah, but I'm looking forward to this fight. So what do you think? You got any opinions? Leave them below. Please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button and spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. And of course, thank you for your time as always. I'll catch you later. Bye for now.